That's it. A lot of the love I had for wanting to be a part of the industry is not there anymore. I don't even associate myself with the industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an industry artist. I'm an artist in the industry. You know?
And you've always stood alone, and you know, bloodline.
I don't hang with niggas. I'm not. You're not gonna see me at every party, every industry party, all the clubs. I go somewhere quiet, man. Shoot pool with me and my mans and them. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that's the type of shit I do. You know what I'm saying? Fuck my remote control cars, jump on the 4-wheelers. You know what I mean? I ain't with all that in the club shit, throwing it up and all that bullshit. I ain't got time for that shit, man. And man, cause then you find yourself doing the same shit every fucking day. What are you, a fucking alcoholic? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Give it a fucking break, man. Live a little, you know what I mean? I play with my kids, man. I play with my toys, I play with my dogs, man. You know what I'm saying? We go somewhere, shoot pool. We do what the fuck we do. You know what I mean? That's why you see us in places that you don't normally see. And you're like, damn, why you here? Well, I'm here because why are you here, motherfucker? You here playing video games, right? Right then. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Oh, honey, let's rewind the clock to the 1990s and early 2000s, the golden era of hip-hop. We're talking platinum chains, flashy cars, and superstar rappers raking in millions. But underneath all that glitter, a very dark game was being played behind the scenes, and guess who was smack dab in the center of it? Yep. Ice Cube and DMX weren't buying the industry fairy tale. They saw the shady moves, they felt the setup, and they weren't afraid to say it loud. Oh yes, these two legends tried to warn us about the puppet masters pulling the strings, especially the ones attached to Diddy and Jay-Z.
Diddy. You're hearing Diddy everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with them?
Yeah, he's produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of, lost contact with him and really stopped, dealing with Puffy around 94.
Yeah. Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. That just ain't what I'm in it for. You've been the one, you've been too long.
Are you surprised at what things are coming out with Diddy at all? Or you're like, you have no idea, it's none of my business, you'll live longer? Is that kind of like the mindset?
I'm surprised. How could you be surprised with anything that happens in hip-hop? Hip-hop is the Wild West, so you're gonna have the good, you're gonna have the bad, you're gonna have the ugly.
Now let's talk Ice Cube, the West Coast truth spitter from NWA. He had zero tolerance for the industry's fakeness. More often, he showed what behind the scenes daringly looked like and asked if Federacies would slide off its origins. In interviews and lyrics, Cube was straight up dragging the smoke and mirrors deals, calling out those fake smiles and backroom betrayals. And he wasn't scared to suggest Diddy was more obsessed with money than loyalty. Yikes. Then enters DMX, raw, real, and never filtered. His bark and bite were both legendary. And let's be real, DMX didn't imply stuff. He said it, straight up. He called Diddy out with his whole chest in interviews, warning everyone who'd listen that the guy couldn't be trusted. But wait, wasn't Ice Cube originally defending Diddy when the allegations first started popping up? But that didn't last long. The truth has a funny way of dragging itself into the spotlight.
Think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
I believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah. I believe, somebody, has the power to pull the trigger to make, this stuff, this domino effect happen.
Okay. All right. So you think he's being targeted. So you don't think, Suge said, you can say what you want about Diddy, But Diddy didn't learn to like young boys. He learned it from a man named Clive Davis. He threw Clive Davis in there. It doesn't sound like you're part of that camp. You're part of the camp that you think he's being targeted.
You know, I don't know enough to even be able to be specific on any of this stuff. It's just all speculation. I just know he was cool up until a point, and then this stuff started happening. So I believe somebody, you know, like I said, yo, he's our new guy. We on this year or whatever.
So what happened next? DMX dropped a bomb in his interviews, flat out saying he didn't trust Diddy. He believed Diddy didn't care about artists at all, just the fame and fortune they could bring him. And baby, that hit deep. Gene Deal wasn't having it either and clapped back, clearly unimpressed with Cube's flip-flopping stance. The tension, palpable.
Hey man, the first thing I want to ask you about is Ice Cube. He came out with a comment that went viral. God. He said that he feel like Diddy is being targeted. How you feel about him saying that?
My man, Ice Cube was saying what, if you read through the line what Ice Cube was saying, he was saying that all us or all of them has done the same shit Diddy been doing. And because he pissed somebody off, they targeted him. They're gonna make an example out of him. Whatever you do at this point in time, you understand, we gonna crush everything that you got to show the other people behind him. You don't come out and speak up or speak out on us. What Ice Cube was saying, brother, was that it ain't only Diddy. Picked on, targeted. That means there's other people that they know, but they just not gonna say anything about it. You understand? They're not gonna use them right now and put them up on a pedestal and knock them down like they doing Diddy. If Diddy hadn't done anything, if Diddy wasn't involved in anything, ain't nothing they could do to you. They could come at you, but if you got enough money like he had enough money, you understand? Whatever they say, the lies don't stand, bro. The truth stand. So Ice Cube saying that, I was a little disappointed. But what he was actually letting y'all know was this. It ain't only Diddy. There's other people. But because he came out and called those people racist, because he came out and tried to put a lawsuit against them, they gonna show him, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's what that was all about.
And back in the day, people brushed it off as just another rap beef, just messy drama for the blogs. But oh boy, as time went on and more horrifying stories about Diddy's behavior started to surface, it all started to make a lot more sense. The business empire, the glitz, the luxury, it was allegedly all built on manipulation, secrets, and control. And through it all, Jay-Z's name kept popping up. The whispers turned into roars. Some even started claiming that Diddy and Jay-Z were more than just business partners, that there might have been a secret romantic element involved. That's not just tea, darling, that's boiling lava.
See what I'm saying? That's the only Diddy party I ever been to was out in public, and there was no freak off shit. There was no outwardly gay shit going on or anything like that.
So that's been going around since the 90s, him being bisexual?
I heard that's why he had got fired from Uptown. That he got caught in a precarious act, doing something real baby oil-ish in the office. You know, now I'm not gonna get into the rumor of who the other dude was, but y'all heard the rumor, and homeboy, you know, the other dude says it's not true, but I don't know. I'm just saying that was the rumor since back then.
Yeah, somebody told me about how they walked in on Diddy getting fellatio from another man.
Yep.
Wow, dude. But speaking of baby oil, how you feel about the feds finding over 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
Of baby oil and lubricant. Don't forget, they said and lubricant. So you gotta, you know, maybe could have been 500 and 500. I don't know, you know, but it's a slippery slope, Art. Like, you know, it's a very slippery slope when it comes to baby oil, you know. I don't know why you would need. First of all right, as a man, if you know about the anatomy of a woman and you know how to get her in the right frame of mind, no oils are needed. She's self-lubricated. Okay? So that leads me to believe that's for something else that needed moisturizing.
Fast forward to now, and the courtroom in New York is shaking. Diddy's trial has exploded into chaos. People who were once close to him are now spilling everything. The allegations, absolutely gut-wrenching. Stories of abuse, fear, and emotional destruction. Enter Mia, once Diddy's assistant from 2009 to 2017, and oh my God, her testimony left the entire courtroom holding their breath. She wasn't just treated badly, she was violated physically, mentally, emotionally. The picture she painted, a nightmare wearing a designer suit.
Today, jurors are hearing from another former personal assistant to Sean Diddy Combs in his federal sex trafficking trial. We do want to warn you that this next story includes graphic descriptions of violence. The witness took the stand today under the pseudonym Mia. She testified that Combs was frequently violent towards his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, and she said his behavior could be, quote, unpredictable and terrifying. She also alleged that Combs sexually assaulted her. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges in the case. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is once again outside the courthouse in New York City. Chloe, what else are jurors hearing today from Mia?
So this individual who worked for Combs over a period of 8 years as both a personal assistant, like you said, and later an executive at one of his companies, she said that Combs screamed at her, once pushed her in a pool, even threw a computer towards her, narrowly missing her head. She said that she really worked in fear and that sometimes she would go days on end, Kate, without sleeping. And that in one instance, when she was working for Combs in Las Vegas while he had nightclub appearances, that she went 5 days with no sleep, and that it caused a physical breakdown with temporary vision loss and hearing loss, and that finally at that point Combs let her fall asleep. She also claimed earlier in her testimony today that Combs sexually assaulted her. We expect to hear more about that in the moments that led up to this alleged assault. She also said that she witnessed Combs brutally beat Cassie Ventura on more than one occasion, one being at the late singer Prince's home in California, in which he was so angry that she and Cassie went to a party at Prince's house that he chased Cassie down onto the lawn and beat her until Prince's security intervened.
And Chloe, a celebrity stylist, also wrapped up his testimony today. What did he have to say?
He talked about witnessing physical and verbal abuse during Cassie's over 10-year relationship with Combs. He said that he and Ventura were close friends. He was with her almost every single day. He said that at one point he even heard Combs threaten to release videos of these alleged freak-offs, and that he was using it as blackmail and holding it over her career, and also refusing to put out music that she was making unless she participated in these drug-fueled parties.
According to Mia, Diddy would throw things at her, slam doors on her, even rape her. She said she was forced to live in his house, trapped like a prisoner. No locked doors, no permission to leave. At any moment, day or night, she had to be ready to serve him, even with weird requests like cracking his knuckles. Let that sink in. This wasn't just a bad boss. This was a powerful man allegedly running his world like a prison, with Mia locked inside.
It's Diddy Day 12, and the prosecution's witnesses are unleashing more bombshell testimony.
Good morning.
Good morning. A morning greeting from Diddy's 85-year-old mom, Janice, on day 12 as the fireworks inside court got underway. The defendant's sons arrived to hear a new witness claiming to be a victim of their dad's violent history. Diddy's former assistant, who's going by the pseudonym Mia, testified about her chaotic past with the music mogul. Mia claims that a toxic Diddy would throw things at her and once threw her against a wall and into a pool. She alleges that he slammed her against the door and sexually assaulted her more than once. Mia is the former assistant to Mike Myers and Adrian Brody's designer girlfriend, Georgina Chapman. Mia testified that when she arrived for her first interview with Diddy, he was on the phone in his underwear.
I'm not the easiest to work for.
On the stand, Mia said working for Diddy was like his former reality competition show.
I don't give a I am the best to work for. I'm not everybody else!
The wild 2008 series showed the abrasive music star handpicking a worthy assistant.
This is what it's like in the heat of battle, baby.
But the heat of the battle for Mia included her working over 24 hours on her first day on the job with no sleep. She lived on Diddy's property and was never allowed to have a lock on her bedroom door. Diddy told her, quote, "It's my house and no one locks my doors in my house." She also mentioned witnessing Diddy abusing Cassie.
Mia was trembling throughout her testimony, really from the moment she got there. But when she was asked about the violence that she witnessed with Cassie, she got very emotional. It was hard for her to finish sentences at times.
CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who uncovered Diddy's hotel attack on Cassie Ventura, has been following the case since day one.
Mia goes into this whole story. Sean Combs took Cassie, threw her hard against a bed to the point where Mia said, "I thought that he was going to kill her," and there was gushing blood everywhere, and he forced Mia to get in touch with the doctor and instructed her to say, "Tell the doctor that Cassie was drunk and hit her head."
Mia also described the frightening night she and Cassie snuck away to a party at Prince's home that she was forbidden to attend.
So they get to the party, they're having a great time, and all of a sudden Mia realizes that Sean Combs walks in. They run out of the house. She says that Sean Combs catches up with Cassie, tackles her to the ground, and then Prince's security actually intervenes.
During Cassie's friend and stylist Deontay Nash's last day on the stand, he testified that he once set her up with actor Michael B. Jordan. He also told the jury it was Diddy who would use Cassie's phone to shoot videos of her during the freak-offs. He would record her on her phone, Deontay said. "I stand firm on that." And now, we've learned the trial's endgame. The judge announcing the case against Diddy should be wrapped up by the 4th of July. But first, it's Team Diddy's chance to present their case.
We don't know where the defense is going to go, but what we've seen so far with former employees of Combs is the defense is constantly trying to make the point that you benefited from working for Sean Combs. For the former employees, they're all saying that I learned so much from Combs, and yet these horrific things happen.
It gets even more chilling. Mia worked for days with no sleep, no rest, just fear. And the worst part, she thought even the police couldn't save her. That's how untouchable she believed Diddy was. Then came Deontay Nash, a stylist who also worked closely with Diddy. And if you thought Mia's story was bad, buckle up. Nash said he saw Diddy beat Cassie Ventura, yes, that Cassie, so violently that she started bleeding. Nash jumped on Diddy to stop the madness, only to be tossed aside. Diddy, realizing what he'd done, blamed everyone else. "Look what y'all made me do," he allegedly snapped. Then came the blackmail threats. Diddy allegedly warned he'd release Cassie's private videos if she didn't obey. This wasn't a relationship, it was psychological warfare.
Tell us, please, what key testimony today stood out to you?
Hi, Judge Ashley. So right now, witness Deontay Nash, witness for the government, is on the stand about to start cross-examination. And he's really turned out to be a pretty key witness for supporting and corroborating all the testimony and allegations we heard from Cassie Ventura almost a couple weeks ago now. Prior to this, we heard that Cassie never really spoke of the freak-offs to anyone. She was very ashamed of them. She was very embarrassed. But he is Deontay Nash, who was a friend and a part of their circle of friends, that styled Combs and styled Cassie for a lot of the performances and, artistry that she did. He was there and he really witnessed, he says he witnessed a lot of the abuse that she has described, including, and that he also was a victim to, allegedly, to some of Sean Combs' lashing out and rages. Deontay Nash has testified about the 2013 incident when that Cassie Ventura described at her house where she was sleeping and Sean Combs came in and demanding, to know where she was, why she wasn't answering her phone, and that Combs just attacked her. And Deontay Nash, like Cassie had said previously, jumped on his back and tried to get Sean Combs off of Cassie and to stop attacking her. And this is the incident that she said left her with a permanent scar over her eyebrow, and that she said to this day she covers up with makeup. And Deontay Nash even provided this context for what Combs allegedly said afterwards. "Look what y'all made me do." And this was when, after that, Combs rushed her to a plastic surgeon so that she could get it stitched up and be on her way to the event, the next event that she was planning.
wait to hear about cross-examination of this witness.
And it didn't stop there. Nash also claimed Diddy stormed his house, searched the oven, and accused him of hiding Cassie. Then he forced Nash to drive to a hotel where Cassie was staying. Nash felt terrified, said someone was tailing him. And to top it off, his backpack with money, ID, and personal stuff, gone, vanished. And now comes Capricorn Clark, yet another former assistant. And what she described? Straight out of a thriller movie. She says Diddy kidnapped her at gunpoint just because he was jealous of Cassie's rumored connection with Kid Cudi. Clark says Diddy dragged her to Cudi's place with one mission: violence.
Given birth to her third child less than 2 weeks after testifying in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Meanwhile, today Los Angeles police and fire taking the stand, focusing on a break-in at rapper Kid Cudi's home and the firebombing of his car. An LAPD officer testified the black SUV he saw leaving Cudi's home in December 2011 following that break-in was registered to Combs' company. Then LAFD arson investigator Lance Jimenez testified about the 2012 firebomb that was dropped into Cudi's Porsche 911 Cabriolet. Cudi had claimed Combs was behind it. Jimenez also testified 2 fingerprints lifted from Cudi's home were turned into the LAPD evidence unit, but were destroyed in August of 2012. Following that, Combs' attorney called for a mistrial. The judge denied the request, saying fingerprint testimony would be stricken.
Clark also saw Diddy brutally beat Cassie, kicking her, punching her outside his house. And when Clark begged her to leave, Cassie said something so bizarre it chilled everyone. Allegedly, Diddy may have had a hand in that too, but the judge, he was not buying it. He tossed the mistrial request in the trash and told the jury to keep going.
Today, in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, a federal judge immediately rejected the defense's request for a mistrial. This request came after an arson investigator took the stand. So let's take you outside the New York courthouse with CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman with the very latest on how all of this unfolded. Hi, Katrina.
So yes, Combs' team requested a mistrial earlier. This was denied by the judge, but they alleged prosecutorial misconduct. It was related to testimony from an LA Fire Department investigator who had looked into an incident of alleged arson at the house of Scott Mescudi, that's the rapper Kid Cudi. Now, there was some evidence of fingerprints that was apparently destroyed back in August 2012, and the defense felt that the prosecution was insinuating in front of the jury that Combs may have been involved in that. The judge ultimately gave the jury an instruction, and so this will move forward, of course, but there was evidence in that testimony tying Combs' car to Mescudi's house. That was related also to an alleged break-in that Mescudi had previously testified. So we heard about those 2 incidents today, and then testimony from a former stylist who worked with Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura.
Yeah, what did the stylist have to say? You're saying that there was testimony from the stylist who worked for Diddy and also for Cassie Ventura. So what did he say on the stand?
Well, one bit of news came out on the stand, which is we had heard Cassie Ventura went into labor, and he said that yesterday he congratulated her on her baby, so she has in fact now had the baby. He also said that he spoke with her when she was a witness in this trial about what she was wearing. But his testimony illuminated a number of additional instances of violence between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. This is someone who was a stylist for both of them, who considers himself one of Cassie Ventura's best friends, and he told a number of harrowing stories, including that he helped Cassie hide from Sean Combs too many times for him to even count. He even said that he would keep $1,000 in cash on hand because sometimes he wanted to be able to go to a hotel and check in without having his name on it, because that was his level of fear with Sean Combs. But for instance, one of the stories he told was about how Combs came to an apartment, Cassie was asleep, he dragged her by her hair off of the couch, went into a bedroom, began attacking her, and it wasn't until there was a lot of blood that Combs even began hitting her. And it was a few seconds after that. He said there was blood, and he kept hitting her face, and she eventually ended up with a gash on her head. She had to be taken to a plastic surgeon and ended up with stitches. But like so many witnesses we've heard who were close to Combs, there's
many dimensions to this relationship. It also came out that he has still stayed in touch with him over the years and even calls it a loving exchange when he is in touch with Combs, despite all of this testimony of aggression and fear.
All right, quite an emotional day per usual. Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, thank you.
As the courtroom circus continues, the ripple effect has Hollywood shaking. Celebs are lawyering up, terrified their names might get dragged into this mess. So far, we've heard from Cassie, Kid Cudi, and Dawn Richard. And the charges Diddy faces? Racketeering, trafficking by force, and transporting people for prostitution. The mistrial request denied.
You still got Gina, and the prosecution, the defense was trying to tell the prosecutor, well, she's not a witness, she's not a witness. They want the prosecution to hurry up to bring Gina in so Gina could paint the picture that like everything was consenting because she's been paid off.
And this is the one that disappeared, right?
Yeah, this is the one who disappeared. This is the one who, they could get her. There's nowhere she could go that the federal government, if they want you, that you can't be got. You understand what I'm saying? If the federal government wants you that bad, you'll be gotten, bro. It's too much technology, photo imaging. There's nowhere she could go. She Asian, you know what I'm saying, half Asian or whatever like that. She might like Chinese food, rice or whatever like that. She gotta go somewhere to get something to eat. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. So now, she come and she testified in behalf of Diddy. They want the prosecution to bring her in. They know she's a hostile witness. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be here, this, that, and other. She made a post, I'd rather be in Chanel and all this other shit like that. That's the girl who took off the payment. She took the $2 million payment from Diddy and them when she got on Tasha K. I think Diddy may have gave her $2 million or something like that. Got her in school, gave her an apartment out in LA, still was messing with him.
And just when you thought it couldn't get darker, it did. These new testimonies, they're painting Diddy as a puppet master of fear. The prosecution isn't just building a case, they're stacking bricks of horror. These witnesses, once his closest people, are now turning the spotlight onto every twisted corner of his empire. Assistants, stylists, insiders, they're all echoing the same thing: control, fear, violence. The trial's taken a grim, emotional turn. It's not just about contracts and dirty deals anymore. It's about survival. These people weren't just mistreated, they were traumatized. And the twist? Some say this whole thing smells like a witch hunt, that Diddy's being targeted. But let's be real, there's smoke everywhere, and too many are saying they saw the fire with their own eyes. Even crazier, one of Diddy's key witnesses suddenly vanished right before the trial. Gone, poof, like they never existed. People are whispering that Diddy might have paid them off to disappear. And honestly, in this case, anything feels possible. But the ones who did speak up, their stories were enough to break your soul. They didn't just describe fame gone wrong. They described a man who allegedly used power as a weapon. A man who, if these claims are true, knew exactly how to silence people and enjoyed it. Physical violence, mental manipulation, sexual assault. These aren't just rumors, these are courtroom testimonies from people with receipts and emotional scars to prove it. And you know what? The jury is listening. The judge is watching. The world is watching. And for the rest of Hollywood, the message is clear. The silence is over. Now, we turn it over to you. How do you think this trial will end? Will Diddy fall? Will more celebrities be dragged into the spotlight? Will Jay-Z ever return and speak up? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, stay watching, because this story has only just begun.